labor. This question is for everyone. How do you recommend we ensure the new law imposing limits on importing goods produced using forced labor in China, specifically the Uyghur minority? Is there anything we should be focusing on to ensure that this law is having the desired effect?
Mr. Carson, I'd be happy to take a crack at that. Thank you for the question. The Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act was, I think, a tremendous example of the bipartisan concern. It passed nearly unanimously, had the support of the administration, obviously. Implementation is the key here, and importers are fighting against it every step of the way. But we've seen some results. There have been 2,300 seizures of goods that have been made, and the Customs and Border Protection continues to need to scale up its capabilities here. It is an overwhelming volume that we still see. It should expand the priority areas of concern. Right now, they include polysilicon, tomatoes, some fibers. There's evidence that has been uncovered by researchers that an alarming amount of the automotive supply chain has tentacles into Xinjiang, and most brand name original equipment manufacturers have either subcontractors there, and so metals obviously should be another area of concern. But I think from a congressional perspective, oversight is very important, and ensuring that the importers that are complaining that their goods are being seized need a different business model and shouldn't be depending on forced labor in Xinjiang, because we have to presuppose that any article made from that region is made with forced labor. There's virtually no transparency there that human rights groups have into the atrocities that are taking place.
To that point, Mr. Paul, and this is my final question, in your written testimony, you emphasize the problems stemming from the erosion of U.S. manufacturing capabilities for goods such as EVs and batteries and semiconductors. In many regions, like my own, the Midwest, particularly the great Hoosier State, we have a very strong industrial base. In your opinion, what is needed to reverse this negative trend and bolster American production in these critical sectors?
Thank you again for the question. As a fellow Hoosier, I can relate to your concern about manufacturing, and Indiana has a long and proud history in that, as does Wisconsin, I would quickly add, for the chairman's benefit, and many other states as well. But specifically, it takes intent. And for too long, for decades, we did not have that intent. We had a philosophy, and we also took for granted that China would play by the rules. And so there is no single policy that is going to change this, but it is going to take an all-of-government approach. We're starting to see that take place. We've seen reforms to trade policy. We've been smarter about trade enforcement actions. We've tried to invest in our manufacturing capabilities through offsetting the costs of setting up fabs in semiconductors, and the same with EVs, batteries, and also clean energy, wind, solar as well. But it is going to take that effort along with other competitiveness measures, such as making sure our infrastructure is 21st century and our workforce is prepared to compete. We have to be ready for this reshoring as well. Our trade policy can start it happening, but our competitiveness policies will finish the deal there.
Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you. I've been informed there's coffee in the back. We've spared no expense.